Hello and welcome to Aurora Northeast Academy. We will discuss a very important issue today, the issue of the birthright citizenship in the United States. It's in the current affairs, so we'll have a very quick glance at the topic. See, it is related to the 14th constitutional amendment of the United States, and after an executive order issued by the US President, a lot of controversies started to emerge. So we'll look into the controversy and how it has culminated in the ruling of the Supreme Court. Let's get started. The Supreme Court of the United States has struck down the Executive Order 14160. It is related to birthright citizenship. So the verdict comes with a 6-3 majority judgment. Here's the ruling. The Supreme Court upholds unconditional birthright citizenship. Why unconditional? Because anyone who takes birth in the United States will be given citizenship, whether they are immigrant or not. Save a few cases. These exceptions are already included in the law. So anyone born in US soil becomes a citizen regardless of their parents' immigration status. Now, what the president has done earlier, the President Donald Trump's Executive Order 14160 has officially struck down. So this judgment has officially struck down the president's order. Now, there are certain exceptions in the 14th Amendment. Remember, the 14th Amendment is related to this citizenship clause in the United States. So the 14th Amendment exceptions remain intact. So these are the two exceptions, that foreign deployments, children of foreign deployments and invading militaries, if their children are born in the United States, they will not have the birthright citizenship of the United States. They won't qualify. So these are the two exceptions which were already there in the law. Now let's deconstruct the Executive Order 14160. The policy mechanism. Direction was issued to the federal agencies to stop issuing citizenship recognizing documents to children born after February 19, 2025. So all the children born after February 19, 2025, they won't be given the citizenship related documents. So that was the executive order. Now, what was the intention? The intention behind this was demographic reasons. Unlawful presence, mothers unlawfully present, plus fathers who are neither citizen nor lawful permanent residents. Temporary lawful presence, mothers lawfully, this is another provision, mothers lawfully but temporarily present, students, tourists, guest workers, fathers who are neither citizens nor lawful permanent residents. These are the two things. Now let's come to the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868. This is the bedrock of the US Constitution. Citizenship rights. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States on the state wherein they reside. And this was given statutory backing through Immigration and Nationality Act, the foundational body of US citizenship and immigration law, drawing directly from the 14th Amendment. It declares that a person born in the United States and subject to its jurisdiction is a citizen at birth. Now, judicial nuance. Justice Brett Kavanaugh's stance. Although among the 6-3 majority striking down the executive order, Justice Kavanaugh limited his analysis to treating the issue strictly as a statutory question rather than a constitutional one. So these are the graphical representation of the numbers of immigrant births. 1990 we have 1.2 lakhs. Then we have 3.7 lakhs to 3.9 lakh birth in 2006-2007. It peaked in that particular year. In 2016 we see a slight drop, 2.5 lakh births, and in 2023 we'll have a resurgence, again high growth. 9% of all US births according to Pew Research Center were immigrant births. So this caused the tension. Now, political evolution. In 1993, remember, Democrats focused on these issues. Birthright citizenship. Senator Harry Reid's Immigration Stabilization Act proposed a narrower reading of the 14th Amendment. Historically, Democrats held stronger anti-immigrant stance during this era. So this is quite reverse now. Now Republicans are having stronger anti-immigrant stance. In 2016, Republican or Make America Great Again focused Donald Trump's presidential campaign centers birthright citizenship as a primary tool for population management, deeply integrating it into the Make America Great Again platform. Trump, in fact, personally attended the April 2026 oral arguments. Now, the core argument against birthright citizenship is systematic misuse, based on the assumption that a large number of non-citizens, both authorized visa holders and unauthorized residents, are having children who automatically gain citizenship at birth. And the second is birth tourism, allegations of an entire industry popping up to expedite or facilitate foreigners traveling to United States and give birth to their children so that they acquire US citizenship. Now, the dark roots and how slavery is associated with citizenship history. 1790 to 1857, the original US Constitution contained no definition of citizen. Rights depended heavily on individual states. They were left to decide the terms and conditions on voting property. In 1790, the Federal Naturalization Act said explicitly restricted naturalization eligibility to free white persons. So it had a very narrow version. Only white persons were allowed to have naturalization rights. And then comes the 1857 infamous Dred Scott decision, which hit the rock bottom in judicial circles. Enslaved black man Dred Scott pleads for freedom, but the US Supreme Court explicitly rules that no black person can ever be a US citizen, entirely excluding them from the constitutional political community. So the Dred Scott decision is like the rock bottom in the history and evolution of rights. Let's come to the turning point, the birth of the 14th Amendment. In 1865, the 13th Amendment was passed, abolishing slavery. However, the Dred Scott judgment was still there, it was lingering around, and the status of the freed slaves was still ambiguous. In 1866, the Civil Rights Act, Congress legislates that any person born in the country is their citizen. President Andrew Johnson, however, vetoes the act. The Congress overturns the veto, and in 1868, we have the 14th Amendment. What it does, it permanently preempt any future Congress or president from overturning birthright citizenship. Lawmakers bypassed ordinary statutes and wrote the principle directly into the Constitution. And that's how the 14th Constitution came into being. Now the recent debate. Trump administration argument that the 14th Amendment should be read in a narrow manner. It argued that 14th Amendment was for a specific context in a particular time of history. And today, if we implement it lock, stock and barrel, then there are many problems that the US will face. They presented it as sort of invasion by immigrants. However, the Supreme Court has upheld the universal text, the universal reading of the 14th Amendment. It ruled that the constitutional text is clear and cannot be given new meaning based on changed circumstances. Concluded that the framers deliberately chose sweeping universal language specifically, so the promise of citizenship could not be limited to one group or narrowed by a future court, exactly as the Dred Scott Court had done. Now the road ahead. The legislative path. Trump administration has signaled it will pursue legislative avenues to end birthright citizenship. Executive order has been struck down, but the legislative path remains open. The obstacle and context: ending birthright citizenship requires a constitutional amendment, which the government lacks. The requisite support in the US Congress. The administration argues an ordinary statute can achieve this, a claim highly contested among constitutional scholars. Birthright citizenship is legally secure for now, but the political slugfest regarding US population composition will continue. So this is not only in the US, I think in many other European countries, similar questions are being asked. Wherever there exists a birthright citizenship clause, citizenship is being contested in many other developing countries. So I thought it's important to discuss with you this burning issue. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Keep following AURORA Northeast Academy, Mizoram. And our foundation class will start from next week. You can join our foundation course, download AURORA Northeast Academy from Google Play Store, and you can join the course. Thank you.